Absolutely. Um, well, this has been great. And, we looked, a lot of this is, kind of just thought leadership and bringing things together. So, as we look to kind of foster this collective mind share, what are some of the top sources that you go for that you're drawing intelligence from? So whether it's, news or books or podcasts, or like, where do you go to get, information you think is valuable and kind of staying up to date on a lot of these topics?
Yeah, I mean that is really a good question. I do spend, I do have a set of sort of key, query terms that I keep in my back pocket and hit, hit things like JAMIA, the American Medical Informatics Association. They still produce a lot of articles. It's really there a lot of it's really, but weirdly enough though, it's in the medical journals that you're finding some
Hmm.
of the keys where you don't have an informaticist, for instance, doing more academic kinds of looks at things. You're actually having clinicians say, hey, we solved a real world clinical problem that's important to us using some of these tools. So that, yes, I certainly look at JAMA and New England Journal of Medicine and a lot of the, the peer reviewed publications to look for informatics related articles. How are people solving their problem? In both of the electronic health record vendors that I have implemented, what's really fun about that is they've each developed a community too also. So they produce community tools where you can actually reach out, for example, to another place that's doing
Hmm.
something that you haven't done yet, you want to do, someone else has solved that problem, and you can actually reach out and say, hey, how did you solve this, and what should we be looking at, what data did you use, and how did you build your model? So there are those very practical real world things that you can do, is get involved with your electronic health record community. um, there are people in LinkedIn every day trying to pump out podcasts and pump out information. So I think that I keep an eye on it all, but it's really hard. It's really hard to get to the
Yeah.
quality. I like your question because I hadn't really thought about how challenging it is to really focus on one area and say this is where all the good new thinking is coming to. It's really spread out.
There's a lot of noise, definitely, and so it's always good. That's really helpful. Definitely going to add some of those things to the list and start to get deeper. I like the medical journal stuff. That's interesting because I think I also look a lot within sort of I would say technology slanted research, but I think some of those things like going a little bit more generically could be interesting to help connect some of those dots that maybe aren't right there on the surface. So that's awesome.